Hello everyone, it's Hils from the Blue Flame Apothecary. We are just a couple of days until the Virgo new moon. It happens in the wee hours of the morning here on the Pacific Coast in California on Saturday the 27th. Yesterday, the 24th, today's the 25th, go figure. Yesterday, Uranus stationed retrograde. And it will remain retrograde until January of next year. Mars, on the 20th, entered Gemini. Mars is going to stay in Gemini until March, the 25th of March of next year. This is very unusual. This is very unusual. It's usually a month and a half. 2 is a long transit. 2 months is a long transit for Mars. There's some amazing energy on offer with this long period of time that Mars is spending in Gemini. And it feels like that's where we're going to start today. One of the other aspects that's happening on this new moon, so we've got Mars in Gemini at 4 degrees of Gemini. It's very early. And the Sun and Moon have entered on the new moon. They're together, as always. And they will be at 4 degrees of Virgo. So in an exact square to this Mars in Gemini, which is, for me anyways, it feels like it's putting an exclamation point on the rebirthing that's being offered by Mars's very long transit through Gemini. Mars is also sitting in a near exact trine, not to the degree, but very close to Mercury. Mercury is hanging out in Libra. Mercury is the sign of Gemini, right? So it's communication and expression and the messenger of the gods. And it's all about Libra's balance and connection. So it feels like this is pointing us in the direction of becoming really intentional with the words that we speak, becoming very intentional. Before I go any further, I'm feeling really called to put my own exclamation point on this. One of the feels, the senses that I have with regard to this elevation, this evolutionary process that we as a species are going through right now, has to do with the creative potential of our thoughts and of our words. And Mars in Gemini, Mars is power, Mars is action, Mars is energy, Mars is birthing. And Gemini is communication, it's expression, it's also duality. And this is pointing to the fact that every word we speak is an action, that every thought we think is an action, and it creates the world that we see. Why is Mars spending so much time in this sign? Because we collectively have a whole lot of work to do in changing the way that we communicate with one another, in realizing the power of our words and our thoughts, and that these things are actions. we've been told for so long that our words don't have any power. Our words don't have any power. We're powerless. And this is reminding us, no, you have so much power. You are so powerful. You can literally create the world through your words and thoughts. So perhaps coming into the heart with those is what will actually serve. One of the things that I wrote this morning as I was feeling into this transmission today was, love is an action. We are being asked to remember the actions of love. How powerful love is. And as we start to feel into that, it's interesting. Almost the moment that I'm recording this, the moon is transiting over Venus, and I'm feeling called to talk about the fact that on this new moon we also have the final in this series of fixed grand crosses that I've been talking about. We're moving into mutable energy in a big way. Gemini, where Mars is mutable. Virgo, where the sun and moon are, mutable. Mutable signs are the end of a season, and we're going to get to that. Now, I have a feeling we'll be talking about that a lot in the coming months. But right now, we're still in that subtle shifts of that transitional energy. One of the ways I was talking to a friend of mine about the transitional energy of fixed signs is how long the month of February can feel. February is an Aquarius month, and that's a fixed sign. And it's also the shortest month in our calendar. But at least in the northern hemisphere, where it marks kind of that middle period of winter, February can feel long. And I was like, the reason that it feels so long is because everything appears to be at a standstill. You know, there's nothing new being birthed. You know, all the flowers aren't blooming, and everything's already seemingly died away. It's covered under a blanket of snow. I mean, I live in San Francisco, California, so that's not true for me, but metaphorically speaking, it is. And it can be really hard to notice all of the shifts that are happening under that blanket of snow. I'm going to stick with the snow because it makes such a beautiful metaphor. Great imagery. You know, the snow, or even like a thick layer of ice over a body of water. All the fish are still swimming there. We just can't see them. Then the ice begins to crack and everything starts to separate, or the ice begins to form. That's more that cardinal beginning energy, or that mutable dying energy, the end and the beginning. I can feel that it's hard to maintain focus right now, and that is also part of the energy of Mars and Gemini. It often can feel like you're in a clearing with so many paths out in front of you, and all of them seem good and possible. There's a lot of really interesting ideas and interesting experiences down each of those pathways. We were going to Venus. We were going to Venus. I was about to say, using discernment and figuring out which path actually serves, and then to go to that path that feels like love. So of course Venus came back right away. Venus is in this fixed grand cross with Uranus and with the North and South Node. And with Saturn, Shiva's not really involved anymore. So she's moved on, and the portal of destiny, Uranus in the North Node, Kali and Mars, has pretty much broken up at this point. But remember, Uranus is starting to backtrack. So that's going to get a little tighter. Although the North Node also moves retrograde, so maybe they'll keep their distance. But it's still active. It's still active. Our destiny line is still being very activated. Venus is also in an exact trine to Chiron over this new moon. There's this sense of being able to remember the words that I used in the Light Drops update that I just published yesterday have come in. That with this opposition to Saturn that Venus is having right now for this new moon and the trine to Chiron, there's this sense of remembering that through love and time, all wounds can heal. Which reminds me that Hygeia is actually conjunct to the South Node, and Hygeia is rapid healing. If Kali is, let me show you your shadows so you can heal and get in there, Hygeia is like, there's the light. It's done. You're healed. But it's more of a, here, remember your light, and that you can heal yourself. Basically, we have this template, right, of remembering our innate ability to heal, and to heal not just our physical selves, but to heal old karmic wounds and down the ancestral line. And this is part of what our thoughts and words can heal. Our thoughts and words create. There's this sense that as we remember the power of our spell casting, our ability to speak into manifestation, to think into manifestation, what we say will have to come up to meet that potential. And it has the ability to heal deep wounds, deep scars in our being through eons of not speaking from a place of love, not recognizing the divinity in others as the same divinity, the same light that exists within us, being told that we were separate from the divine, separate from the light, and that everyone else was separate from us. That all that othering, ooh, it's one of the things that really lights me up is that the reconnection of and the remembering of the divine light and spark in me is the exact same divine light and spark that exists within you and 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 everyone, in that tree, in that blade of grass, in the crystal, in that plant, in the flame of that candle, and in every single fucking human being on this planet. I don't care at all who you are or what you've done. I don't. Because at the end of the day, you still have that divine light in you. Doesn't mean I approve of everything that has been done or said by any means. I have experienced my share of trauma as We all have. However, it does not change the fact that we all contain the same light. It's just what we use it for, or if we remember we have it at all. And usually, if somebody's actions and deeds and words are being used to inflict pain on another, it's because of an enormous grief and fear and pain within them. And whenever somebody says or does something that breaks my heart, I try and remember that. I try and remember that it's because there's a fracture there within them. And then that allows me to have compassion. It doesn't mean that I want to go out and have, a cup of coffee with the person. It's important to have boundaries, especially as your capacities are coming online more. This is not where I thought this update was going. It is about self-empowerment though, right? And part of allowing your inner sovereignty, your divine light to be shared out with the world is also recognizing that it exists within everyone else. It's not, I have this divine light, I'm special and you don't, you're not. Like, I'm ascending and you're not, or some weird bullshit like that. It's more like, wow, we all get to do this. Amazing. So I'm going to circle a little bit here. There's so much going on, and one of the other things that I wrote in the newsletter is that this new moon feels like a literal light body activation. So we're gonna start moving into that energy really quick. There is Uranus that we talked about, right? Stationing retrograde. Uranus is the great awakener. Drilling down, really concentrating that awakening energy. And that awakening energy is in Taurus, the sign of the earth. Material world, the physical body. The new moon is in Virgo, which is earth healer, priestess. It's the virgin. So virgin isn't sexless. It's actually just means whole unto self. It means whole unto self. So Uranus, the great awakener, is hanging out, drilling down, really intensifying its energy in the earth, in the physical body, while the new moon is allowing us to release, to rebirth, to birth anew the healing capacity that we have. Remember, Hygeia is over here on the south node, reminding us that we've always had it. It's also reminding us that we are whole unto self. We are whole unto self. So these two energies are dancing over the course of this new moon. And then, in a trine to Uranus, loose but it's still there, is Pluto. Also moving retrograde, so diving deep. Another aspect of retrograde is going internal. So if forward moving is what's outside of self, this is about what's inside of self. So we have the new moon in Virgo. It's not a cross or even trine to Pluto. They're both earth signs, so it would be a trine, but they're not even close in degrees, so we're not going to go there. But they're both earth signs. The new moon is earth healer and reminding us that we have this earth healer capacity. Pluto, I think I'm trying not to say this. I don't know why. So in the last update that I did, I mentioned that I had been called to create this particular new moon chart with different Gnostic and Christian archetypal asteroids. One of those asteroids is named Isa, I-S-A, and it is exactly conjunct Pluto right now. Exactly. Like they are sitting on top of each other. Isa is the Islamic name for Jesus. It's the name given to Jesus in the Quran. The name Isa also means strong-willed, strong of will, which also means to be whole unto oneself. The way that this feels like a light body activation to me is that lightning bolt energy of great awakening that exists within Uranus is pointing at, is gifting Pluto conjunct Isa in Capricorn, which is what you pursue. Taurus is what I possess. It's the material, it's the physical. Capricorn is what do you pursue? What is it that you are the most called to? What are you the most called to? It's also structures and foundations. Saturn is the lord of Capricorn. Isa, Yeshua, Jesus, whatever name you want to use. In this particular case, it's Isa, was pursuing the full embodiment of Christ light, the full embodiment of divine light. That was what Jesus was doing and templating for all of the rest of us. When Jesus was like, I am the Son of God, he wasn't like, and you're not. Sometimes when I hear Son of God, instead of S-O-N, it's S-U-N. The light. And he was reminding us all that we, each and every one of us, have that capacity. And so his pursuit, Pluto's the revealer of secrets. So Pluto's digging underneath Isa and his pursuit to be whole unto self, his will, his strong will to be whole unto self, so that he could fully embody divine light, anchor his Merkaba, his light body. Pluto is revealing the secret that this is what he was pursuing. Uranus is coming in and saying, this is possible for every physical being. This is possible for all of us. And this is what we're doing right now. This is what we're doing right now. And the new moon is allowing us to release any fears we have about anchoring our divine light and birthing into our true earth healer capacities. So a nice quiet new moon for us, right? There's also some amazing energy with the asteroid named after Sophia, wisdom, with the asteroid named after Adam, Eve, and Lilith. And we're going to put a bookmark. And tomorrow I'm going to come on and record an update about that, because I want you to really be able to soak in the frequencies of remembering what it was that Isa was doing. what it is that each and every one of us is doing right now, which is remembering our divine light. And this is very much what Mars in Gemini. Did I mention that 2 days before Mars finally leaves Gemini, Pluto is dipping his toe into Aquarius for the first time? This is going to be an interesting few months, as if the last haven't been, right? It feels really powerful right now to just take a quick moment and breathe into your heart, to really allow this transmission to sink into the deepest chambers of your heart, into the pink rose of your heart, and into the spark of blue light that is the blue flame that's the deepest part of your heart. To allow them to feed and fuel evermore the green light that is where your heart and Gaia connect. Gaia is also Sophia. To remember that our thoughts are actions, and our words are actions, that love is an action, and that when we speak and think through love, we create love in the world, which allows us to anchor more and more of our light, which allows us to speak and think and act from love evermore and evermore and evermore and evermore. And the cycle continues. Just like cycles of trauma can continue, cycles of love also continue. So let's feed that. Let's feed that cycle of love. I would love to hear from you. Any wisdom that is coming through for you at this time as you're anchoring ever more of your light. Anything that aha'd during today's transmission. Anything that's happening at all. And if you are called to journey further, come check out the Blue Flame Members Portal or a one-on-one session. I'll post links below for everything. Please definitely like this video and subscribe to the channel. But I read all of the comments, and it's such a gift to hear from you, to share our journey in that way. I'll also post a link below for the newsletter, The Cosmic Light Drops from the 17th Dimension. So you can subscribe to that and read the latest issue, all the back issues too if you want to. I'm feeling called to end cap this with the Lionsgate Love transmission as well. So you can go straight into that love if you are so called. Oh, my dears, it is such an honor and such a treat to get to share the gnosis that comes through the divine light that travels through me with you, to share this love as always and in always from all the dimensions.